Do you remember the story of Carlee Russell? Carlee Russell was a 25-year-old black woman who faked her kidnapping, staged a hoax kidnapping there in Birmingham, Alabama. And she just one day walked home. And then she recanted her story. After a week of lying and denying and cops having to investigate it, well, she just went to court. But I want to bring everybody back up to speed what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who I thought had a mental incapacitation type of issue. Something had to be going on, I would think, that you would stage this. And not only was her saying that she was abducted a lie, but she said that there was a child she saw wandering on the highway and that the child was taken and then someone took her. So there was simultaneous, like an Amber Alert for the young child that did not exist. And all this was fabricated just so that Carlee Russell, it appears, could go on a mini vacation, a staycation, near home. So anyway, so this was very disconcerting. It was major news for a while. Everyone talked about it. The reason why I'm talking about it now, because one, there is an update to the case, but also because, folks, I had a theory that I wanna run past you. See, Carlee Russell, what she did is a misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor to file a false report to the police. That's all it amounts to. And of course, they found her guilty of this, and she admitted she lied, and she apologizes for the lie, and she's facing $18,000 in restitution for the amount of government or state services that were expended on this fake goose chase of a child that wasn't missing and of herself now being missing. That's to the total of $18,000 here. And then she has a fine of about $1,700 that she's supposed to pay. But they want to delay the case and move the jurisdiction to a place where the lawyer and where the state attorney and the sheriff are not so upset with her. They want to get it into another jurisdiction where the jury will be a little bit more sympathetic and see her as being a stupid young person, not a person with a heinous idea to wrap up government resources and pull on the heartstrings of Alabamians. So that's the theory behind all of this. And this is a bad story. I was pissed off. I'm still pissed off about it. In fact, and look, I'm off on us not giving her any jail time. I'm going to find out why she did it. Yeah, I want you to sit down instead of Jada Pinkett Smith. I want you, Carlee Russell, to sit down and tell us your story. I want to know what behooved you to do this crap. Because it is crap. And I think you got to look far and wide to find people that think it was okay what she did. I think everyone agrees pretty much that this was wrong for Carlee Russell to do. But here comes my point. My additional point. And you can call me a conspiratorial person if you want to, but ride with me on this. I believe the reason why they put so much attention on Carlee Russell's case is because they knew it was fishy to begin with. Yeah. I believe the reason why they focused all that attention on it, because it was everywhere, folks. This story was everywhere for like a brief moment in time. You couldn't turn without seeing it. And I believe that it was all done to camouflage the reality of black women going missing in America is not something that the media or law enforcement pay much attention to. I believe that Carlee Russell's story is used to dampen the emotions of the general public to the fact that black women go missing at almost 3 times the rate of white women. In fact, there's a term used for the reason why America, or the phenomena of how Americans pay more attention to missing white women than missing black women. It's called missing white woman syndrome. Let me run some facts down to you. First of all, young black women, 20 years of age or younger, they make up only 2% of the U.S. population, but they are more than 15% of the actual missing persons. So that would mean they're 7 times the national average, amounting to about 80,000 individuals in 2022 that went missing. The reasons behind this disparity can be complex and include systemic racism, socioeconomic challenges, and the disparities in media coverage. Alabama is not much different than the rest of the country in this regard, that They don't go looking for black women like they go looking for white women. And this is a perfect opportunity to say, hey, when we don't look for y'all, it's a good reason why we don't look for y'all. Remember Carlee Russell? Remember what that sister did? And that's what black women do when they go missing. It is a way to hide the shame of our legal system, to hide the shame of our law enforcement. I do not put it past our law enforcement personnel. I do not put it past the media. I do not put it past those entities to be in cahoots, to exasperate this problem, to make it seem like black women bring this on themselves. When black women go missing compared to cases involving white individuals, many cases involving black women receive less attention and less media visibility. The lack of media coverage can hinder efforts to locate missing people and raise awareness about their cases. This is a no-brainer. If you don't talk about black women being missing, it's going to be really hard to find them, unless they escape on their own. So while I was researching this story, I wanted to get a little bit more data to wrap around this, because I know that there'll be people that dismiss this, dismiss my accusations. It's just that, accusations. No, they are rooted in fact, baby. Several studies and reports have highlighted the disparities in media coverage and law enforcement response. That's cops even getting off their butts to go look. And there's a running thing that when someone breaks into your home or breaks into your car, they fill out a report. That's for insurance. Because cops, law enforcement doesn't really look for robberies. They don't really look for the culprits of break-ins. It have to be several break-ins with a similar pattern before they even really get on the job. So when someone takes your stuff, they just take your stuff. Good luck replacing it. I hope you got insurance. Same thing happens when black women go missing. When black women go missing, they don't really look for black women. They just say, she'll be okay. That's not the case when white women go missing now. An off-cited study in the context is a 2016 report by the Roper Center for Public Opinion Research at Cornell University. It indicated that while white children account for 51% of missing children cases, they represent 76% of media's missing coverage. Black children, they account for 35% of missing children cases, yet they receive only 17% of the coverage. What I'm telling you is that half of the time white people go missing, but over 76% of the time they cover it. That's what their reports are. If you look at their reports, they're getting more than their share of coverage. And as you might expect, because we are in America, and we do have systemic racism that Tim Scott doesn't want to acknowledge, that Vivek Ramaswamy won't acknowledge, frankly, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won't acknowledge. They both said America wasn't a racist country. You know, it's not that I want people to admit that that's what America is, just to hear the words. I want you to admit that that's the condition America has, so that we can start doing things that remedy it. See, my idea is that they don't want to admit that America has racist, systemic racism, because then they might have to do something about it. How else can you explain a country where 50% of the time the missing children are white, but 76% of the time when there's a story about missing children, it's white kids? That's over-indexing. It would be fine for it to be 50, because that's the number of cases. What I'm telling you is this. Black children are far less than 13% of the population. But they are 35% of the missing population. It only gets 17% of the coverage. There are some folks that believe that reverse racism is the most damaging thing, that you are more likely to be racially discriminated against if you are a white person than if you are a black person. Not if you're missing. I don't know what numbers you're using. Maybe you're talking about how many black mermaids there were, or how many Black Panthers. But when it comes to something as important as going to find a missing person, looks like they're looking for you almost twice as much as they're looking for us. All the data on the disparity in search efforts between black and white women, they're not widely available. So part of the push is have more stats, because if you track something, you can point it out. See, if you don't track something, then there's no way to point it out. They'll say, oh, you're just making this up. You're going on your feels. But now, if we got the numbers, then you can't say it's the feels. You can't say it's emotionally driven, because that's what they like. That's what they like to do. See, they cover Carlee Russell's hoax story to minimize what is not a hoax, and that is that America has a problem looking for black women. They have a problem. They do not value black women. Their lives are less valuable. Be they adults, be they children. So it's not just about Carlee Russell. No, Carlee Russell, what she did, she didn't do this to raise awareness about black women. I don't believe. I'd love if that was the case. I doubt it. I think she would have already said that. But what we can use this story for is to shine light on that exact fact. And that's our job. Well, that's my job. My job is to give you the information. It's your job to share it. Black women, you are priceless. You are valued. We care about you. And we want you safe. They're not tracking this at all, folks, so there's just so much data I can give you. But I can tell you this, the human trafficking numbers out of this world in America, period. So we got a problem with human trafficking across the board. But it's particularly a problem with black folks because they don't look for us. They don't publicize it, and they don't look. Not to the same regard that they look for white folks. And it is what it is. We got to raise the roof on these issues. We got to draw attention to these issues. Like I've been trying to tell you, folks. You say, Tim Black, why do you get loud about this? Why are you so adamant? Why are you so passionate? Because this is what I know. If we don't make it an issue, they won't. If we don't talk about it, who will? And if we don't advocate for ourselves, who will be left to do so? Hold Carlee Russell accountable, but don't scapegoat her to hide the deficiencies that are in this system, that the system allows, because they simply don't value black women. All right, my name is Tim Black. Follow this channel. Remember, like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. And when they say, why do you watch the Tim Black Show on the TBTV network, you tell them, it's a new day. All right. Thanks for watching. And thanks for sharing this important story update.
Hey, family. You've been listening to an excerpt from Tim Black's Black Table Video podcast. Tim was in his bag tonight. Look, why not become a VIP member? Starting at only $5 a month. It's affordable and easy. Get exclusive content first. And support Black independent media. Go to jointimblack.com. And as always, don't let nobody take your cornbread. When they ask, why do you subscribe to The Tim Black Show? Just tell them, it's a new day.